What is going on, chat? We are on our consistent upload streak right now. For a while, you know, I didn't have much content to make, so I wasn't really posting. But fortunately for me, anti-Semitism is stronger than it's ever been, which means that there is an infinite amount of content for me to make. You guys should be happy, actually. I want to take a look at this Piers Morgan, Dan Bilzerian interview. This is like a pretty, for all the Jew haters, this is a pretty iconic interview, you know? So I just wanted to take a look at what he says about Jews, because we love the Jews. Yes, me and you, bro, on your soul, we all love the Jews. We're amazing, right? And you could tell by this guy right here. This guy, he loves the Jews. You could tell by, bro, okay, completely off the topic. What is that haircut? He looks like an executor. Do you guys remember that? Also, by the way, in general, with like all these like Jew-hating individuals, so far, and you could take a look at all of them, but how many of them are married with children? It's just something that I've noticed. Every Jew hater that you see online that preaches to an audience, none of them are married with children. Food for thought. You know, they often preach masculinity and, you know, like repopulating and white men should have more white kids. Meanwhile, none of these guys in the movement have no bitches. It's very upsetting. Now, I don't have any bitches either, but that's not because of my incel takes online. That's because I'm just cooked.
I mean, do you not understand why Jewish people might feel a sense of victimhood, given that 6 million of them were killed in World War II by
it was 6 million, bro,
in the Holocaust? Do you not
Yes,
understand
bro.
why that might make Jewish people feel that, yes, they have indeed been victims?
Yeah, I mean, that figure's been revised, but, you know,
What?
I believe that Jewish supremacy is the greatest threat to America. And I think it's the greatest threat to the world today.
The biggest threat to this world right now is your haircut, bro. That's the biggest threat to this world. Okay, wait, no. I said I want to keep the crash outs on a minimum for this one.
believe that.
What do you mean the figure's been revised? What do you mean?
Yeah, what you mean?
Well, they said that it was 4 million that died in Auschwitz, and then they said it was down to 1 million. So they've revised the figure.
Well, how many people?
And I
How many
believe it was the
people
Red
do you think were
Cross that
killed
said
in?
it
What is he? What are you remotely talking about?
Holocaust.
71,000 that died in Auschwitz.
The Red Cross said 271,000 people died in Auschwitz. It's a very that's like the argument that they try to use that 6 million didn't die because, for starters, you know, like that was reported under the Nazi regime. So like, you know, you trust these Nazis to be so honest. Also, that document isn't in totality. It's talking about in certain extermination camps. It excludes the big ones like Auschwitz, Treblinka. You have the eyewitness accounts of people that were there. You know, it's very documented. Like, where the 6 million Jews go? You know, like you have like the population. 15 million Jews back then, and about the same amount right now. We just got back pretty much to the same numbers. Like, where did they go? Did they maybe they went to Florida for winter? Like, where did they all go? Like, where did the 6 million Jews go? It's fucking disappeared. I mean, the 271,000 argument, it's so dumb because it's literally just like a document that talks about certain deaths, and they'll just fucking use that and be like, oh, it says 271,000. Oh, it must mean that this is all that there ever was. They say that it's not possible for that many Jews to like die in the gas chambers. That's like easily debunked because they claim there's like one oven cooking a bunch of guys. It's just like it takes 2 seconds of research to like debunk all these things, but you know, you could go on Piers Morgan. You could just start yapping. Piers Morgan clearly is not like either he chooses not to rebuttal or he's not equipped with the information. So, you know, you just have like clowns yapping. You know, it was 6 million. Honestly, you know, it could have been more than 6 million. Yeah, hey, maybe it was 100 million, you know? That's just rage bait for the Nazis, guys. Also, it's important to point out, like, whenever I say goyim, obviously goy just means someone who isn't Jewish, but whenever I specifically use it on this channel, it's mainly just talking about anti-Semites. It's the new way I use the word. I've never used the word goy or goyim ever. Like, I personally have never used that word, but because all the Jew haters are like so obsessed with it, I decided to like start using the word specifically towards them. I think it's kind of funny. Anyways, let's continue.
How many do you think were killed in the Holocaust?
I don't know, but I would bet my entire net worth that it was under 6 million.
That is okay. First of all, I like that he's still kind of scared here. Like it's just funny. Like, yes, bro, the Mossad is on your ass, bro. Like, yes, bro, that's what's happening right now. Also, like, you didn't really give any evidence. You just said I'd bet all my money that it was less than 6 million. Like, I'll bet all my money it was probably more than 6 million. Like, that's not, like, I don't really see much of the argument there. I mean, you have multiple documentation. You have the freaking trials where the Nazi officers literally said that it was happening. You have eyewitness accounts. You have all these ovens Well, like, what are all those ovens doing there? You have the mass graves that were dug up. You know, you give one guy with a mustache a bunch of years and a bunch of gas chambers. Like, it's actually, like, it's pretty realistic, unfortunately, for it to happen. And also, not everyone died in the gas chambers. So many were just shot, starved, weren't documented. Like, and like, so there's so many of those that weren't even documented. And then you have the fact that, like, every Jew you know is, like, descends from, like, a Holocaust survivor. Like, that's a pretty crazy stat, you know? It's almost like it happens, you know? I don't know. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I know it sounds a little conspiratorial, but it may be a thing that happened. And we could do slight devil's advocate, like, okay, like, let's say it was 271,000, like, that's still bad, but then they'll be like, oh, but if it wasn't 6 million, then you don't have as much of a reason to guilt the non-Jews. And then I'm like, okay, well, if we said it was 271,000, you would probably say it was 10,000. It's a stupid, no, it's just a non-ending argument. These guys they don't actually care. They just don't like Jews, bro. Can we get to the final point? All the fluff, shove it all to the side. These guys just don't like Jews. They don't like Jews. It's pretty simple. It actually saves us a lot of time. And they'll try to like dance their way around it. You don't want Jews. You don't want Jews to live around you or in your country or to have any involvement in your life whatsoever, which honestly is a very bad financial decision on your part. And didn't this guy get all his money from his dad or something? And he claims he got it all playing through poker. Like every single one of these anti-Semites, they all got a shady past, bro. Like, none of them are like, you know, like, they all got something sus going on, and none of them are married with kids. It's just important to point out.
Again, I simply ask you, Dan, what's the motivation for making claims like that? What do you stand to gain by trying to diminish what happened in World War II?
I'm just answering your question. I mean, I'm a gambler, so if I think that, you know, something is a low probability, then I would bet on it. And I don't know for a fact, but the evidence all says that it was less than 6 million.
I just cited you so much. There's so much evidence. If you were to look at all the evidence, you would think that 10 million Jews died. But we're so nice, we'll only say 6 million. His evidence so far was that one document, which took a couple minutes to like go through.
I mean, just the mathematics don't work.
That's not true.
You can't cremate that many bodies. Like,
oh my God! Here we go. Here, let me finish.
The whole gas chamber thing. It's a very ineffective way to kill people. So when people have researched this and they've done the due diligence,
don't crash out. Don't crash out. Don't crash out. Don't crash out, Smee. Don't crash out. How is it mathematically impossible? That's another thing they'll say, that like only this amount of bodies could be burned or something. By the way, they didn't kill them by burning them. They gassed them and then they burned them for the most part. In Auschwitz alone, the concentration camp, there were like 6 or 7 crematoriums that were dedicated to burning the bodies, right? You had the gas chambers, and there are many gas chambers that were there. They have like all this is recorded. Like he's pretending this like these archives don't exist. They'd shove all of them in the gas chambers. They'd kill all of them. I guess it's actually a very effective way. What are you talking about? It's a very effective way to kill people. You could kill them all at once. I mean, they would take their bodies, they'd put them in those crematoriums. It takes about an hour per body to burn. They had a bunch of crematoriums, and this is just in Auschwitz, right? This is just Auschwitz, the concentration camp. It took about an hour per body, but they would shove multiple bodies per crematorium because it would literally take quicker to burn the bodies by putting them together. They would put adults in with children to reduce the timing. Once again, you have eyewitness accounts talking about these things. I personally did the math. If you have that many crematoriums and each crematorium has between 12 to 15 ovens inside of them, which they did have, and you're burning 1 to 2 per oven per crematorium. In Auschwitz alone, I did the math. You could do the math yourself. It's running 24/7, by the way. They had people constantly doing this. Remember, eyewitness accounts, confession in the trials. In Auschwitz alone, technically, hypothetically speaking, more than 6 million bodies could have been burned in the span of the Holocaust using those crematoriums in Auschwitz alone. And obviously not everyone died in Auschwitz. Not everyone died in gas chambers. Not everybody was burned their bodies. But even if you wanted to do the oven argument, the Jews would still be in the right. Yeah, like people think there were like 2 ovens cooking everybody. Like that's not... No, the Germans were very efficient, unfortunately.
You see, I'm sorry, but I just find that unbelievably offensive. And I'm not even Jewish.
Well, then this isn't helping. This is just like you're not giving any argument. So, which, you know, maybe it's not his knowledge to have, although everyone should be educated on the Holocaust. Yo, we're going to put in the school curriculum, guys. I know we love this, bro. But yeah, no, don't play the victim card for us. Although I appreciate it. We should have the discussions and then decide how you want to feel about it. But it's important that we just debunk this the moment that it happens, because now when you're doing that, you're not answering, and now it just spreads more online.
Again, there is clear evidence that 6 million people, almost predominantly Jewish, were killed in the Holocaust. 12 million were killed by the Nazis in total.
Right.
They were a genocidal monstrosity, the Nazis, who wanted to eliminate the Jewish people. And they tried extremely hard to do that.
You said 12 million were killed?
The Nazis killed 12 million people in World War II.
Not Jews,
6 million were killed in
You said 12?
6 million were killed in the Holocaust.
He's just trolling, bro.
Or do you not believe that either?
Okay. I mean, Jews have killed far more Christians. Well, Jews have killed far more. Let's just accept the 6 million figure. Jews have killed far more Christians than that. I mean,
he's going to do the Bolshevik thing, and he's going to say it was all Jews that were in charge of it when, like, none of those guys were Jewish. They claimed Stalin was Jewish. Stalin's mom was not Jewish. You're only Jewish through your mom. They'll take, like, all these guys that were involved in that. They'll be like, yo, his uncle is Jewish. They'll be like, yo, his great uncle is Jewish. That makes him Jewish, bro. When, like, even if they were Jewish, which they're not, none of them are religious. None of them are praying and doing Jewish traditions. So, like, why does it even remotely matter? It's like, oh, they're 5% Jewish. It means they're fucking Jewish, bro. Like, it's stupid. And also, so many Jews died during that. You think the Soviet Union was good for the Jews? Oh my God, so many Jews died. Like, how is this gonna be the argument also? I mean, we have, like, stories in Jewish folklore of people, like, surviving those atrocities as well and having to go through, bro.
It sounds to me, Dan, like you do actually hate Jewish people.
No, I believe that Jewish supremacy is the greatest threat to the world today. I look at what they're doing in the media. They're pushing this transgender nonsense. I mean, and they did it in Germany. The first transgender clinic was opened by a Jewish guy.
I want to let's take a look at this Jewish guy. Well, for starters, where there's going to be an industry of success, there's usually going to be a Jewish guy there. And it's not because of a grand conspiracy. It's because we're great at getting successful. You could consider that a skill issue. So if there's going to be success, there's going to be Jews. That I'll agree with you on. But, like, you're going to use the first trans clinic being, like, some Jew as your argument that therefore that, like, we love yeah, that's against the religion, buddy. Yes, Jews, that's not in the religion. Any Jew that says that, they're wrong. They're lying about the religion. Maybe they're, like, Reform. No offense, Reform people. I'm looking at all of these people that are there. None of them, like, bro, none of these guys are, like, none of them are religious, bro. And yes, it's important. Why? Because the caricature of the Jew, they'd be like, oh, but they're still Jewish. Okay, then why is the meme of, and all, like, the stereotypes online, the freaking religious Jewish guy rubbing his hands, or, like, you know, with the freaking payas and with the hat, like, every situation that maybe that they'd call out that someone might be Jewish, like, it's someone who isn't remotely Jewish, who their mom isn't Jewish, and then they say that all Jews believe in this, bro, and I'm like, well, that's when I'm just, like, crashing out here, like, I am against all of that. That's all against the religion, and every Jew agrees with me and agrees with that, and it's not, like, in our ideologies. But they'll nitpick the scenarios, and they'll use it to fit their agenda. Wow, pretty Jewish of you. Guys, the first clinic was a Jew who their mom may or may not have been Jewish. We don't know. Therefore, all of the Jews, they want you to transition, bro. Yes, bro, that's what Jew boy wants from you, bro. I just want you to transition, bro. And they'll take this and that, and they'll try to, like, make their little, and they'll try to, like, sell you this, like, whole Jew package. See what the Jews are doing to you? They're making you trans.
And I don't like this perversion pushed on our children. I don't like the fact that 9-year-olds are reading about homosexual acts. I don't like that drag queens are reading them in schools. I don't like.
Yeah, yo. So, like, I agree with him on that. I know, very based. How could the religious Jewish fan agree with that? Yeah, I know it's based. I definitely do have, like, some woke viewers as well, and it's a no personal offense to you. I don't hate you, you know. But yeah, in the Jewish religion, that's it's just simply not allowed. So I agree with him on that. But he's gonna make it sound like this is, like, a Jewish thing, when it's literally, like, against Judaism. So it's just like, crash out, don't crash out. Don't crash out, blue skies, kittens.
You know, men beating up women in boxing and sports. I think it's all nonsense, and I think it's leading to a degradation of moral fiber.
And like he's saying, because the first trans therefore, like, this is like a part of the Jewish ideology. This is what the Jews want. You can ask any Jew in the world, any religious, normal thinking Jew, they will tell you that they don't want someone who's trans in a male dominated or in a female sport. Like we agree with you on that, but you're gonna make it. I'm not happy.
And if left unchecked, I think it's going to ruin the world.
But again, you're blaming Jewish people.
Yeah, it's not nice.
Because they're pushing this.
No, we're not. Here's me, I'm publicly against it. Now what? Guys, I do need to stop crashing out in these videos, but like, you have to understand, like, someone, like, you got these guys just blatantly lying about like my religion. Like imagine I went over to you, like, if you're a Christian or Muslim, and I'm like, yo, like, your religion says that like to be trans and to like do all these things. Like, you'd probably crash out and they'd be like, no, what do you mean? The first blah, blah, blah was founded by a Christian or founded by a Muslim or their uncle is a Muslim. You know, you'd crash out, I think, also. So, like, I'm just going to continue.
They're pushing it. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, they're controlling the media. I mean, the DEI is being pushed by BlackRock. BlackRock's execs are all
that's
Jewish.
why my videos get no views, bro, because I'd be running the media, bro.
You know, you look at where this is coming from. It's not a surprise.
Not gonna lie, it's like it's a lot of cope going on here. Because Larry Fink, who like he owns BlackRock. Like, bro is a Holocaust survivor, bro, and he like figured it out and now has one of the most powerful companies in the world. Like billions of other people had the same opportunity and just didn't get the like why did Larry get the success? Oh, because the Jews and the Rothschilds. It's a lot of cope going on. A lot of this goy cope. I can't stand for these goyim coping about being losers all the time. Like, just be a winner. Stop whining about Jews. If anything, be friends with Jews. We're pretty successful. Not in a conspiratorial way. More like we're just really smart and good at getting money. Not in a weird way. And like Indians are also really smart, really good at getting money, and so are Asians. You should like befriend all of us and get rich with all of us together. Instead, no, you're gonna like blame us for all your problems and say lies and heinous things about my people and my religion. It's not cool. It's kind of, not to be controversial, but it's kind of offensive. I said it.
Dan,
all the Disney execs are Jewish?
Dan,
Walt
pushing
Disney
it on
hated
children?
Jews.
do you accept, Dan, that you are just blatantly anti-Semitic?
Look, I have an issue with that term. I mean, I think the real Semites are the Palestinians. I mean,
okay. This is why I stopped saying anti-Semite, because they nitpicked the word and what it was created for, right? The term anti-Semitism, it came in the late 1800s, and the context was used talking about Jewish people, right? I'm not going to tell you you're like that butterfly means flying butter. Right? You're going to pick apart the word, sure, if you want. Well, obviously, by the way, Jews are Semites. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion. But even if like you want to like play that argument, like you're gonna nitpick the term of what a phrase was created for. It was used talking about hatred of Jews, bro. That's that's the first time it was used. That's historically what it's created for. I'm not gonna tell you that butterfly means flying butter, right? So don't come in the past 10 years and be like, well, actually, anti-Semitism. Okay, let's just call it Jew hatred. It's much more simple. That's why a lot of Jews stopped saying anti-Semitism, because they're trying to like switch the history and meaning of what it was created for.
You know, the DNA test that they've done on the Israelis that are living over there, they're Eastern European Ashkenazi Jews. I don't even think they're
I mean, obviously there's going to be Ashkenaz. And by the way, what does Ashkenaz mean? You want to talk about that? You want to talk about like skin color, complexion? There are many darker complexion skinned individuals in Israel. Is that like you're trying to say they're all white or something? You ever like seen people in Israel, bro? Like there's a lot of dark Jews there, bro. I remember my brother. He's much more tan than me. Much more tan. He almost looks Sephardi. That's how tan he is. And when we were doing our podcast together, and one of the guys in the comments said, that guy on the left, my brother, he's dark. He looks like Middle Eastern. He's a real Jew. The guy on the other side, me, he's too white. He's clearly he's not a Semite. He's not a real Jew. And I'm like, we're brothers. White the flip. He it's just, yeah, people have different complexion, bro. I'm sorry. Okay, yo, W, crash out.
Well, Semites, they don't have ancient Hebrew DNA, which is why DNA testing is illegal in Israel.
Okay.
I mean, you're literally denying their existence now. I mean, you are just a brazen anti-Semite, aren't you? You hate Jewish people. You hate Israel. You hate the state of Israel, its government, everything about it. You're blaming them. You blame them in this interview for literally absolutely everything.
When you say, well, I think most of the problems today is caused by Jewish supremacy. I believe that.
Jewish supremacy, bro. They love saying that.
I'm honestly gobsmacked that you would say all this publicly. Given
Dan, it takes 2 seconds of like level-headed thinking to disprove pretty much every point that he brought up here. But, you know, peers are just like calling him an anti-Semite, which is like exactly what they want to hear. They don't want to hear logic. They just want to hear you call him an anti-Semite, which is why it's very important that we make these types of videos to discuss these things.
High profile you have.
Yeah, I mean, it is not a... It's not a popular opinion for somebody that, you know, cares about money and cares about, you know, not being canceled. I mean, that's the problem, is you can say whatever you want against Muslims. You can be, you know, super anti-Muslim. You can...
That's not, I don't think that's remotely true. If anything, Jews need to do a better job at standing up for Jews. Because if you make fun of a Muslim, bro, like if you're in public saying bad things about Islam, bro, Muslim people will they'll show up and they'll gang together and they'll be like, you're gonna stop this now, you know, and then they'll freaking listen. Jews don't do that. We actually we need to stand up for our religion more, and not let people say blatant lies. So I don't know what he's even talking about here.
Talk about them and nobody cares, but if you say anything about Jewish people, you get canceled. They, you know, look what they did to Kanye. I mean, so why are they...
Really, Kanye, bro? Well, first of all, Kanye wished death upon us, right? It's like, yeah, sorry, it's not a good financial decision to wish death upon a group of people. And then, like, you're gonna get surprised when someone who works with you is Jewish, doesn't want to work with you anymore. And they're gonna claim all the Jews, like if I was Muslim and someone talks shit about Muslim, yeah, I wouldn't want to work with him anymore. Like, is that some conspiratorial thing, or is that just like level-headed logic? Also, Kanye is mentally insane. Why are we using him as the beacon of hope and reasonable thinking?
Such a protected class. Let me ask you that.
I don't think they are. I think they're a class that get targeted by people like you, and indeed by Kanye, who spewed horrible anti-Semitic nonsense. But yours, it seems to me, to be more insidious, because you're literally blaming...
So you're literally blaming... With respect, let me finish. Not the other way around?
You're literally blaming Jewish people for almost everything that's happened that you don't like in the world. That is the purest personification
at least give us only
of
a couple
anti-Semitism
things, you know?
right there. That's what it is.
Well, when you have a religion that promotes supremacy, when you have a religion that says that you are better than other people, and when you have a religion that says it's okay to steal from other people as long as they're not Jewish.
Are we gonna, is it time for the Talmud? I wish I had a Talmud button. I have a, what do I got? I got, oh, I also have this.
Glory.
Oh,
Glory.
oh,
Glory.
oh, I also have this button. All right, let's hear. There's no one better to explain the Talmud to me than Dan Bilzerian. This man right here. This looks like a guy who knows the Talmud. Oh, I exposed my gray sweatpants. Yeah, we're in the COVID fit today. You know, it might actually be true, because, you know, the way his haircut is situated, it actually almost looks like he's wearing a yarmulke. Although you shaved the hair on the sides, you're not allowed to cut the hair off the 5 corners of your face. Obviously, there's arguments and discussions about where that goes to. That's why some people have the curls. But, you know, you seem to have the payas above, you know, pretty much by the top of the ears. So, you know, like, I'll give you that. But for precaution, it's better not to go down to a 0 above that, because it'll be considered a separation from the tefillin to your head when you have something that's short on the sides. Obviously, you know this because you're Rabbi Bilzerian, bro. That's why you're about to teach me Talmud, because you're Rabbi Bilzerian.
You have a religion that says it's okay to rape people that aren't Jewish when you have...
What are you talking? Okay, bro. Where do they even, like? How do you even quote something so badly out of context? You want to know what it is? They're not even quoting it out of like, it's like, oh, quote it in context. They're not even quoting it out of context. They're just making shit up. You know, oh, I love making shit up. You know, without lies, anti-Semitism dies. You like that? Oh, yo, is that a bar? Yo, chat, was that a bar? Can you show me this in the Talmud? No, don't throw a quote at me that was recycled from regurgitated lies on Twitter. Can you show me that in the Talmud? Please show me that. I learned a pretty good chunk of the Talmud over my many, many years. You know, I only spent like 10 years learning it.
A religion that talks about having sex with, you know, kids that are under 3 years old.
That's not remotely true, and I made an entire YouTube video on that. You could, I'll link it by the end. I'll link in the description. You could check that entire. We made videos so far talking about Jesus in the Talmud and like relations with a child. What is even talking? So there's a video explaining all that crap. It's just that's not remotely true. I'm still working on other videos talking about pretty much every verse in there. There's also a good website in the description that debunks every single one of these in a couple of seconds. So feel free to check that out. No one's paying me to say this, by the way. What? No one's paying the Jews? Yo, APAC, bro. I do so much good shit for y'all. Can y'all give me money, bro? You would take it also, bro. No, I wouldn't. Yes, the fuck you would. Shut up. Okay, I'm talking to the voices again. I need to continue this.
When you have a religion that promotes these things and promotes supremacy, I think you're going to have problems. And you see that.
It doesn't say that Jews are better than non-Jews. We talked about that in the last video. I don't even know how it could chosen people. We already discussed what chosen even means. It doesn't say they're allowed to do things with children remotely. It doesn't say that at all. We made an entire video on that. But you can just come on here, spew regurgitated lies, and everyone will... No one will do their research, bro. No one does research. It's 2025, bro. Obviously, wait, why would you do research? It's 2025. Why would we do that?
In Israel. Israel is a manifestation of that religion. And I think that religion is...
Oh, now they're going to say that people in the Israeli government are fucking Talmud learners. And they're using these things, which don't exist, by the way, to create the state of Israel. Bro really thinks that Netanyahu is like learning Talmud. Bro, none of these guys know how to learn Talmud. You know how hard it is to learn Talmud? It takes, bro, it literally takes years. It takes years to learn how to learn in the Talmud. You're talking about like this Hebrew Aramaic translation and then learning to read that and then learning how to read it with Rashi, Tosfos, and all the Mefarshim. And you think these government officials who like aren't even remotely religious are like learning this shit? Like if you didn't go to yeshiva, you don't really know how to learn the Talmud unless you spend many years later in your life picking it up.
It's terrible. I don't believe in white supremacy. I don't believe in Jewish supremacy. I don't believe in supremacy at all. And right now, I think you have massive Jewish supremacy.
You sound like a Nazi.
No, but you're not debunking anything, Mr. Morgan. What are you doing, bro? Oh, Morgan is actually, it's Yiddish for morning. Piers, I'm mourning for you right now, because this is not a good, these aren't debunks. These are, you're just, like, because he's given all these claims, which are blatantly not true, and then you're just saying that's not true. Like, we got to give some answers here, bro, you know? But that's not really his job. Piers is making so much money from platforming these guys, so who's the real Jew?
I mean, why do you say that?
That's literally what Nazis would have said in World War II.
Not even he could debunk just being told.
They would have literally articulated their hatred of Jewish people and the reasons why in exactly the way you've just done.
I don't have a hatred for Jewish people.
You do.
I don't like a religion that says that they're better than other people. And
they always play this game of like, I don't hate the Jews. I just don't like blah blah. And then like their whole thing they don't like that's blah blah is like non-existent. And then they try to pretend that none of these guys have religious Jewish friends. None of them. None of them have any. Bro, they don't even have a wife. You really think that they're gonna have religious Jewish friends, bro?
Well, you do. You obviously do. It's blatant. No one watching this will draw any other conclusion. I'm staggered about how brazen you've been.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't like it when people think they're better than other people. And you see that in Israel, and they're acting like that, and they're treating Palestinians like second-class citizens. They're treating them like sub.
Now he's using like that lied religious ideology, and now saying that Israel is that's what they're doing here. It's ridiculous.
Human beasts. And it sells that in their Talmud. So it
says that non-Jews are, the whole non-Jews are animals, which I already made I made videos debunking all these things. It takes 2 minutes to debunk. Non-Jews aren't animals. Where are you even pulling this from? Why are we blatantly lying again? You are liars. Everyone, they're all liars. They call you an anti-Semite, never a liar. You are a liar. You happen to be an anti-Semite as well.
Because if you are not a Jew, that you are basically subhuman.
Not true.
And
not
I don't
remotely
think that
true.
Judaism and Christianity go hand in hand. I mean, they believe that Jesus is in hell burning in human shit.
We literally talked about that in the last video. Not true.
And they believe the Virgin Mary is a whore.
I literally talked about that right after that, and it's also not true. And the potential verses that could possibly be taken in that context are also talking about two different people. The one that's talking about Mary and the one that's talking about a guy burning in hell are actually talking about two different people. So it's actually impossible for them both to be talking about Jesus, but obviously none of them are talking about Jesus as we talked about in that video.
So I don't think those are two religions that really intersect very well. But, you know, we've been programmed that they do, and we've been programmed that it's okay and that Jews are the chosen people, and I just disagree with that. I think everybody's equal.
I agree with you on that as well. That's not what chosen means. We talked about that. Also, it's talking about specifically chosen to fulfill certain commandments. And if you're not Jewish, you only have to fulfill 7 commandments, and then you get pretty much the same reward.
Even comprehend how this interview is going to play out when it airs.
Jews will be mad. Anti-Semites will be happy.
Bad. But, you know, my opinion is not politically correct, but I believe that is the truth.
Wow, thank you, Rabbi Bilzerian. You really educated me on Judaism. Guys, remember, if you want to be educated on the Holocaust and on the Jewish religion and on the Talmud, you know, take it from Rabbi Bilzerian. This guy right here, he looks like he's about to sneeze here, but this guy right here, bro, he knows everything about Judaism, bro. You could tell. You could tell, bro. Who am I going to for my Jewish questions? No, I'm not going to Jew boy. No, I'm not going to like to an old rabbi guy. No, I'm going to Dan Bilzerian. This is where I'm going to learn from. Like, that's like the equivalent of, like, for his sake, that's like the equivalent of me going over to a rabbi and being like, yo, rabbi, what's it like to be a degenerate loser? You know, like, that's like, you wouldn't ask a rabbi that, because rabbis are freaking awesome. That's when you go to Dan Bilzerian. Hopefully that cleared things up. Millions of views on that video, by the way, but you know, it's 2025. Grifting the Jews makes you money. Although historically it's always been that way, but now it's peaking more than ever, which I guess is good for me in 2 ways. Because 1, I could finally debunk all these things, and 2, it gives me more content to make videos about. Ka-ching, ka-ching, you like that? It's okay though, because when I do it, I'm making money for good. These guys, they're making money for bad. And that's not good. You got to make money ethically. Anyways, WYAP. Make sure to follow the Twitch if you want to ask me stuff live and join the Discord. Smash like, subscribe. Literally, God bless.